Now I'm starting to love Tuesdays. I've kind of gotten into the routine of tying from Mike Valla's Founding Flies, tying the Founding Flies. And today we are up to number 7 of 21. And this one is the Dark Coty. Now it was created by Victor Coty from up in the Adirondacks. I couldn't tell what year, but Ray Bergman did talk about it in Trout, published in 1938, so we know it's at least that old. Now the pattern is very similar to what we tied last week, the conover. The dubbing is actually the same blend, it's just a muskrat and a red wool. So if you want to see how I made this, last week's video shows you that. It's just a little bit of muskrat and some red wool put in a coffee grinder. And after the dubbing, just has one other material. It is a dun colored hackle feather. The Dark Coty is a darker dun, and then the light Coty is a lighter one. So it does have a wing. You've got 2 hackle tips for the wing, and then some hackle fibers from a dark dun feather for the tail, and then that same feather wrapped up front as a collar. Now this fly might not be really easy to see in fast, choppy water, but I do think it's going to be a good floater. So here's where I usually say, there it is in the vise, but this is the first fly I'm tying today, so I don't have one. Now that's a size 12 standard length barbless dry fly hook. It is a Sabre 7210 if you're curious about that. And I've seen where folks say that these aren't really good hooks, but they're economical and I've never had any issue with them. They've held up well. They're pretty sharp. If you look at that, it'll scratch your fingernail pretty well. So I've never had any issue with them. Now the thread, it's a dun color. It's a 70 denier. I'm gonna go ahead and catch it in somewhere up here in the first third. And I'm gonna tie in the wing first. Just dun hackle tips. One of these is not real high quality, but we're gonna use it anyway. So yeah, I'm gonna catch it in about where I wanna flip them up. And I want them to be just a little bit longer than my hackle's gonna be, maybe. Let's see, 2 wraps, is that gonna work? Yeah, that'll be about the top of the hackle, but that's going to be just fine. So a couple more wraps to secure this going back. And I'll go ahead and snip this excess back here. And now I'm going to prop them upright and then tie them spent. So try to get up under here and put several wraps just to prop them upright. And we are going to have some of those fibers right there. You know, sometimes it's easier to just go ahead and snip them before you put the wraps in between them. Got a little mess right there, but okay. So there's our 2 wings, and I'm gonna do a couple of X wraps in between them. So we'll go 2 from back to forward, and then a couple from forward to back right here, and get them spent 30 to 45 degrees, I think is gonna work. So I think that will be it right there. Now let's take our thread to the back, maybe the start of the bend here. And we'll get a few barbs from this dun colored hackle. This is what I'm going to use for the collar hackle as well. I think this is enough right here. Let's catch these in, and I am going to have some curlies to snip off. And I would say this is kind of the Catskill style fly, even though it was tied for up in the Adirondacks. Still very similar in style. So let's get this tail caught in. And I could probably just bury those curlies right there, but I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a quick little snip. And now I'll bury them. But let's leave our thread toward the back here, put a little wax on it. And now we'll dub a noodle from this muskrat and red wool blend. Okay, that's a fairly tight noodle. It might be a little bit thicker than I want when we get up here to the front. Let's see. Yeah, let's try and tighten that up just a little bit more here. And that might be a little bit thicker than I want, but you know I'm going with it. Now that same feather that I used for the tail, just pull it around, I think about right there. I like 1.5 to 2 times the hook gap. Now let's catch this dun feather in right back here behind the wings. And I'm gonna do at least 3, maybe 4 if I can get them wraps behind, and then probably a couple up in front. All right, let's wrap these, see how it looks. I think that's 3. Let's try to get one more. And now a couple wraps in front. We can use that to sort of push those wings back. I can go one more up front and still have plenty of room for my whip finish. So 2 wraps to secure that, and I'm gonna go ahead and snip this before I wrap up and build my head, or flatten out the area for the head. All right, we'll just kind of pull these back and try to get them all. And now we can flatten this area out for our whip finish. All right, I think that's gonna work. Let's see if we have any cleanup right here, and then we'll critique this fly. Is that too much hackle up there? And maybe a little bit more than I wanted, but it's still a fishable fly, and you know, I'm gonna keep it as is, put a drop of head cement on it. This thing's going in my box. So that's it, my friends. I appreciate you watching. Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.